This is actually publicly owned space, isn't it? It's a public thoroughfare. We can use it if we want, and I guess it's just to remind us of that fact.
Making use of space.
I think one of the problems that we have in a modern city is that there's far too many chain stores. There's a sense that there's these bland corporations taking over public space, and just doing unusual little things like this is a bit of a challenge to that. I don't know, perhaps you could see it as a political act, just sitting down here in the street and just enjoying some food. It wasn't quite the huge event that I had expected. There's rather less people here than I'd imagined. I was kind of imagining in my head the whole of Briggate full of blankets and picnic baskets and people sharing food, a bit like Jesus went with the fish and the loaves and all that, but it's not quite.
Just tell me what's going on and why you're here.
There's a Leeds feast going on and at Briggate, and I'm just here to share in the experience of just community and sharing food and meeting people. It's a beautiful day as well.
This is something I saw on Facebook via one of the musicians here. Just about celebrating public space and all being together for sort of free music and just free good stuff, really. So we just thought it sounded good and that we wanted to join in.
And the event has been set up by, I'm not entirely sure who. I don't think it has. Obviously someone must have set it up.
What is the purpose of this event?
I think just uniting people in a way.
Yeah, and what would you say is the purpose of this event today?
From what I understand, I would see it as just a way of being human together. People just meeting, random people from the city, coming to an open space to just share some food and know one another. So it's just about being human and sharing in community.
It's the idea of sort of bringing people together in the centre of Leeds. I think they've done it in other cities as well.
We just know that it's like a celebration of public space and music and coming together with people.
I think if you speak to the people who were probably setting this up, I would imagine the purpose is just for people to interact on a person-to-person, face-to-face level with strangers. We live in quite a big city. We just sort of pass by each other all the time, every day.
Would you say it's just responding to a sort of lack in society?
Yeah, I think so. It does seem that maybe this would have happened, 30, 40 years ago. People would have met up more. But now, I don't know, it just feels like people do tend to stay in, or they wouldn't tend to go to the park on an evening and hang out as much. So this is just an example of that, really.
Strangers are getting together to do what we would all normally do in a park, and we're doing it in a really public space.
But I think the idea is that there used to be communal feasts, communal celebrations of just things like summer and what have you years ago, and I think the idea is just to get people to use communal space and realise that they can do.
Is it responding to a lack, an absence in society today?
I think it is. It is responding to quite some indifference and just, in a sense, individualism, people being too sometimes not always very relational, especially in a place like a city centre, because normally a city centre is dynamic because people are always walking around, but few times do they always stop to say hello. So it's about reclaiming the city centre.
And the idea is perhaps for people who haven't met each other before to just get talking. I don't know these people, and they've just come and sat down next to me and we're sharing some food and stuff. And
Do you think that's a problem though, people not talking to other people?
Some people are just like that, aren't there? Some people aren't. I'm quite good at talking to strangers and things, but I think it can only be a good thing, can't it, for people to get talking.
Isn't that what people do in pubs and clubs and bars and workplaces and just life in general? They're just constantly talking to other people.
I think that's changed, sadly. I think if you go in a lot of pubs and places like that now, there's a massive screen playing football or the soaps or whatever really loud. And if you go in a lot of places, it's kind of like sort of weird places that are halfway between a bar and a club, and the music's too loud for you to talk to people properly, and it's harder to socialise in those kind of places than it probably was 20, 30 years ago.
I think in Leeds everyone feels like to meet people you have to go to a bar and drink, spend a lot of money to do that, and really, instead of sitting inside you can just be getting outside and do your own thing with people. So
Why do you want people to come together?
because people come together less now, don't they? Like, it's all evolving and we're all like on our fucking iPhones.
People say everyone's got Facebook friends and everyone spends a lot of time on the internet, but people are spending less time face-to-face interaction.
Well, I think Facebook has been a very good thing for face-to-face interaction because it enables people to set up groups and to invite friends to things that are happening in the real world, and that happens a lot. There's a lot of things that I wouldn't have been aware of in terms of like things happening that I found out about through people inviting me on Facebook. So I think it's actually been a really positive thing for people meeting in real life.
If the idea is to encourage people to socialise more and meet friends, meet people, make friends, isn't there only so many friends you can have?
I suppose so. It depends on sort of what level of friends. I mean, you can have acquaintances and stuff. It's always nice to just go for a walk in the city and run into someone that you know and have a little chat with them. They don't need to be like your best mate or something, and I have that in Leeds. I know a lot of people, so chances are if I go to a gig or something or other, if I go on my own, I'll run into someone that I know.
Couldn't society be too friendly though? In a sense, you don't want strangers coming up to you all the time and saying, hello.
How's it going? How are you? My name's John. Yeah, well, I don't think anyone would like that. I don't think that's very likely, really, is it? I can't imagine that happening. No, I can't really see that happening.
Yeah, it's quite nice to kind of like go back, because this is probably like the sort of stuff that was really normal to do, like way back in time.
Is there a bit of nostalgia going on here?
Not nostalgia for us too, is it?
Nostalgia about the olden days. Possibly, yeah, like the rose-tinted glasses or something, yeah. Maybe a little bit, but yeah, but I think that's fine.
There must be a lot of people walking past right now thinking like, what the hell's going on?
But how
Why
many
are
people
people
walk
like,
past?
it's really weird.
How many people are too women to get involved, too self-conscious to get involved in
Like our
something like
friends,
this?
where have they gone? Is that because they don't want to get involved?
But it's interesting though that some people would respond in that way, what's going on, and then other people would respond, oh, this is a great idea, and that says to me that some people have got an idea that they see as being realised here, and other people just don't see, don't accept that idea. Do you want to see more of these sort of events? Is this the start of something, do you think?
Yeah, I definitely want to see more of these events. I loved it. Love it if the whole Brigade was partying right now in a festival kind of style way, but you got to start somewhere, haven't you?
Yeah, start slowly. It's not to kind of, I suppose, not to want to give up hope because there's not as many people as you'd think there would be, but everything, I think, it's really cliched, isn't it? Say like Rome wasn't built in a day, or, you start small and then you just like build on it, really, so, yeah.
I don't think there's any sort of agenda, it's just a totally random sort of thing to do. That's fine.
Do you think this is going to catch on? Do you think we're going to see more of these sort of, I don't know, what would you call this?
Just a public social meeting, isn't it? Like a little block party or whatever.
Are we going to see more public social meetings?
Yeah, perhaps, yeah. I think there's going to be more, perhaps not in the middle of like a public thoroughfare like this, but I can see things in like parks and stuff like that, those kind of public spaces perhaps catching on. I mean, there's already things like Unity Day, and I know there's been that's been restricted a bit more in recent years in terms of how long it goes on for and all that sort of stuff. but it's proved that these kind of events are things that people want.
That was very meaningful. That was very meaningful.